Hey, you there. Thank you for watching and welcome back to Forged Alliance Forever. Today I have a 4v4 ladder match on the map Monument Valley. Let's go ahead and introduce our players, starting with the red team, Team 1 in the northeast section of the map, with the rearguard air position of the player Air Motsovi, I think is how you say that, going first land as a Cybran in orange. To his west, in the northwest side of Team 1's main base, we have Pierre Deje going first land in crimson as a Seraphim. South of them, we have Distoff going first land as a UEF in yellow. And last but not least, for Team 1 in regular red, normal red, we have Felrar going first land as a Seraphim as well. So for Team 1, we have a Cybran in the back line, 2 Seraphim, and a UEF, meaning that Team 1 is missing out on the oh-so-valuable Aeon technology. Coming here down to the blue team, Team 2 down here. Starting with the rearguard air slot for Team 2, we have AT8 or at 8, depending on how you say that. In purple, going first land, second air as a Seraphim. Watch out, he might be building those Awasher experimental bombers. To his east, we have Katawanga in navy blue, going first land, second air as an Aeon. Northwest of him, we have Nabawasser going first land, second air as well. In teal as a UEF. And last but not least, for Team 1, already on the move, we have Lolly Warsythe going first land in regular blue, whatever I'm going to end up calling that blue color. Again, first land, second land, third land, probably like land all day, every day in this northwestern slot. So for Team 2, we have two UEF, an Aeon, and a Seraphim. They are missing the Cybran tech. They don't have the telemaser capabilities on this team. Let's go ahead and see what our reclaim situation is all about. Decent amount of reclaim along these cliffs up here to the north and the south. There's a couple a lot of reclaim over here to these little side mountain areas, and some around these little other mountains, hill thingamajigs. But pretty much there's not a lot of mass in the middle of the map, which is very surprising. It's more along the, like I said, the cliffside, around the edges of these mountainsides. There is some reclaim here in the civilian structures as well. I don't think there's any. Is there any? There is a couple PD, so T1 engines cannot just approach and kill everything. There is T2 fusion reactors here. That'd be very good for either team to grab. And a T2 radar. I would definitely grab that, especially being powered by that power generator. Probably would reclaim the E-storage just in case it blows up because of its splash damage, because it is volatile. So that was probably what I would do. Let's go ahead and get on to the main action here. We have a raiding scouting party out from Team 2, trying to get that early advantage, take out some early engineers, as well as just get a nice little scouting view going on. We have an interceptor out from Team 2 as well. Actually, that's Team 1, excuse me. I'm sometimes used to games where like different styles of colors, like red and blue, are on different teams. But I have to remember this is a ladder match, not a custom match. We do have the comm of Pierre on this factory, trying to get an early, front line established. We have a drop out here from Team 2 as well. Ooh, are they going to drop? They'll probably drop one engineer here. Looks like they're going back to that. I don't... I'm confused. Oh, they decided not to drop. I guess they canceled that order. We have 2 drops here for this northern hillock here. We do have another drop out from Team 1 as well. There are 2 engineers versus 4 engineers. They will be able to prioritize that land factory and get it up to running faster, which will most likely secure that hill. It's a plateau. That plateau for Team 1. Words are hard, everybody. Words are hard. Looks like interceptors have sighted that transport. It does not make it back home and is taken out, but it is on Team 2 side of the map. It originated from Team 2, so that's just going to go back to Team 2's coffers. We have 3 of the 4 comms from Team 1 pretty much establishing a forward center line around the split of the map where it's mirrored, so that it's the same on both sides. We have the comm of Naberwasser on an upgrade gun and range. Comm of Lollywar, again, pushing up that front line as well. And then the comm of Katawanga moving in a kind of northern direction. I would like to see Team 2 maybe grab at least one of the corners. As of right now, Team 1 is pretty much in position to grab the southeastern corner. I mean, and there are some movement to get that northern corner as well from Team 1, but it's not as apparent. There is a factory in the mix as well. And like I mentioned earlier, it looks like that factory from both teams did finish. However, Team 1 will definitely have the advantage, and that Mantis is looking to kill that last engineer. These are building THAMs. I think they're THAMs. Yeah, they're THAMs. Okay. Getting used to all the different icons for all the different units. But that factory is definitely going to be destroyed here right quick. We have a gun damage and range upgrade going down for Destov as well. And very much mirroring Naberwasser in that regard. We have a forward production factory using the advantages of... Oh shoot, what's the word for it? Proximity advantages. Oh shoot. I had the word in my head, then I completely lost it. It'll come back to me at some point. Or you can answer down in the comments what word, like what that exact advantage of, because it's hooked up pretty much next to the mass extractors, is providing a reduction in the cost of mass for those units. We also have an upgrade on the comm of Katawanga. He just finished the range upgrade. Now he's going for the speed upgrade. So Aeon Sniper comm is definitely his go-to move as of right now. Ecos currently, we have a small advantage for Team 2 at about... Well, I mean, that might be reclaim related. Numbers change all the time. But as of right now, Team 2 is winning, but that could, again, be reclaim related. Team 1 is short stacking it just a tiny bit, but not by much. Team 2 definitely getting the bigger share of the reclaim, as you can see. About 4,000, and that is pretty much the difference between the two teams in terms of mass. Then we have multiple armies clashing right now. We have one in the north, and Pierre is retreating while we have one in the middle. Destov is leading his forces. Same with Naberwasser. Naberwasser is retreating, trying to get these PD online. But it's just early engagements, not a whole lot going on. We do have the comm of Felrar in this southeastern section, kind of shoring up defenses and making sure that there are no enemy units that cross this main passageway. However, Team 2 does own this southern plateau, so they could easily just fly a transport over there and call it good. So it's not the end of the world for Team 2 for that corner, but at least on the land game, it's going to be a little harder for them. Contact in the north for both players. Warning salvos being fired back and forth. Comm of Lolly is trying to take out all of those Team 1 units, while the comm of Pierre is trying to focus on the units, but got cut off by the comm. Both players using their comms aggressively, trying to ward off the other comm. Oh, this is going to be bad. If Lollywar does not start walking back, he's going to get outnumbered, and he's starting to be... You need to focus down the units. You're not going to get out of this. It's not going to matter. The amount of damage coming out of that comm isn't going to matter, and that explosion does go off. That is a kill on the cards for Team 1, dropping Team 2 down to 3 players. That was definitely unfortunate. Lolly pulled his forces back too far, wasn't able to come back in and assist, and Belwar was able to come in and pretty much overwhelm the comm of Lolly and take him out. Looks like Destov is doing a very similar thing, but for Team 1. He's starting to be surrounded. Overcharges going into that chassis. He does get a rank and vet, getting some hit points of regen back up and running, but just being shot all the time. Naberwasser is probably just going to walk this comm down for the kill, dropping down below, almost at that, dropping below 1,000, dropping below 800, 400, 200. 2 more shots will do it. 1 more shot. Boom! And that is another kill for this game, now making it an even 3v3. Pretty much the same situation happened for both teams, except one of the... Obviously, each of the land players got killed. And those bases were transferred over to their highest rated players, respectively. Air inheriting it since the Stoft was their highest rated player, and the Com of Naberwasser inheriting it because he is the highest rated player. So Team 1 actually lost the rating game in the sense that Team 2 got the better end of the deal where they killed their highest player, meaning Team 1's. But Team 2 did not lose their highest player. They actually lost their lowest player. And if you notice the ratings now, Team 1 had the highest and the lowest, and Team 2 kind of had like the average. The downside with that is if you lose your highest rated player, it's not going to go very well. And Pierre was not looking well. He's starting to be grouped up by these units out from Naberwasser. Naberwasser's going to pull back. He could keep pushing, but the Calm of Air is there to help assist in defensive operations, trying to protect the Calm of Pierre. Naberwasser does not want to get caught napping and ends up pulling back. It would have been close. It definitely would have been close. Pierre does drop into the red. There is just more and more shots being drove into that chassis from these T1 units. He's continually trying to walk down. Looks like there is another Notha fighter bomber overhead. Drops another bomb down. One more bomb out to do it. That fighter bomber specifically, makes the turn. Is Pierre going to be able to dodge it in time? The bomb is launched. Lands. It misses. He's below 600 hit points and about 600 points, and then gets a Rankin Vet, goes back up to 3K. That's going to mean a whole lot of difference. That's pretty much going to save his life. As you can see, drops him at a little above 2,000. So had he not got that Rankin Vet, he would be dead right now. So again, very close call for the Calm of Pierre. That would have been a 3v2 in favor of Team 2 instead of it being a tied game in terms of player count. We have combat here in the southeastern side. Forward factories and PD are starting to go down for Team 1 for Fel. He does have a T2 PD, very effective at taking out T1 PD. However, in, again, large numbers, PD doesn't really matter. And that PD is going to get primaried by the Calm, while the units out from Team 2, his units specifically, of course, are going to be taking out the rest of the army and then focusing down the rest of the defenses. And this is definitely a position where Fel does not want to be in, being surrounded. He notices he is in danger. He's going to get overwhelmed, but decides to leave and says, I am out. See ya. You can see the units out from Katawonga. Excuse me, I had to think for a second. Are trying to block him off in terms of movement, but it's not enough. Reinforcing units come to help assist the Calm of Fel. Katawonga probably thinks, I don't want to get caught napping like my other teammate did and one of my opponents, so I'm just going to leave. He did enough damage. He took out all the PD. He took out some of the hit points off the Calm, which then rep back up. But he did take out pretty much all the infrastructure in terms of, again, defenses. So it's really easy to bring in some T1 artillery and just mop the rest of this up. T2 army starting to appear for both teams in the middle. We have shields on the way for Naberwasser as well. These parashields able to deflect 3,000 points. I don't know if that's 3,000 points of damage specifically, or just that's what the pool of energy they have. I think that means 3,000 hit points. I think that's what that means. Well, we have a decent size force coming out from the orange player of air. We have a couple of these pillars as well as a mongoose in tow and a missile launcher. Like the combination of units, do not like the fact there's no anti-air. And at this stage, you're about 13 minutes in, you should be seeing T3 pretty much be finished up. And as you can see, T3 has been completed. Those engineers are popping on the field as we speak. Katawonga looks like he's getting flanked by T1 and T2 units. Gets an overcharge in one of those pillars. Is going to focus down the pillars. Very smart move. Take out that high DPS and high health. Takes out the missile launcher as well as another one of those T1 units out from Fel. He is getting overwhelmed though. There's a T1 PD in the mix. Very high damage. Takes disliking to all of those pillars. Katawonga still retreating. The units out from Fel move in to try to intercept and force it. Katawonga to still engage. However, I think they could have stayed with the Calm a little more. Katawonga is a 5-vet Calm, so he has lots of hit points, lots of regen. 40 hit points per second base regen is pretty good. And that is going to leave a decent-sized reclaim field for both players to come and grab. I need to go look into getting the strategic mod installed. I've had a couple viewers comment that I should add it just to help differentiate a lot of the structures, because even just with this, it's very hard to see what exactly is what, and it's even worse, of course, when it gets to like T3 RD stages and game ender end stages and whatnot. So I'm definitely going to be looking into that after I finish this cast. So not today, which is tomorrow for me if you're watching it tomorrow being Wednesday, but Thursday's video should have the strategic mod installed on it. So anyway, back to the action as I like tangent on some conversation about me installing mods. And again, if you don't know, the Supreme Scoreboard mod and the Highlight mod are the two mods I have installed. Very effective, especially at seeing the actual comms on the maps, and they're highlighted that they're yellow. There's not a lot of things that are actually yellow in the game except for units that are yellow colored. However, that circle does denote that that is the comm versus a RAS comm or whatever else support ACU. But just some posturing going down here in the southern portion of Katawonga versus Fell. Again, Fell looking more like turtle up and make sure this position is secured. We have sort of a run by, just kind of almost a walk by at this point, of a couple of these obsidian tanks. Decides better of it and goes, I don't know if the pathing's wrong or something. Oh yeah, they're trying to go around this little hillock here, but they're getting caught, of course, by the environment itself. That's probably what they were struggling with, which makes more sense. It is hard to navigate when you're in this view, just because it's really hard to see the terrain and how it's laid out. But the comm of Fell just hanging out, just want to turtle up, getting some air defenses up, getting some PD up. Would like to see some TMD up as well, just to ward off missile launchers, of course. In the north side of the map, we have a small army out from Naberwasser, just kind of trying to get under those shields and stay there, but those units are pretty restless. They don't want to just sit in formation. And looks like that civilian base in the northwest section has pretty much been claimed by Team 1, by Pierre specifically, and nothing is left standing, not even that T2 intel station that I mentioned earlier. Not even the one in the south either. That's very disappointing. But it does cost a lot of energy to run, and I get it. You need the mash, you need the energy early on. You can always build one in a better position later. But it is nice to have early on as well. So, I mean, it's kind of a give and take with that. I do like the position of this intel, though, because if you notice, right in the middle of the map, pretty much, and then if he upgrades it again, he can get an even bigger view on it. So, what? Do they have a scrying tool? Wait, hold on. How can they see that down there? Why is there just a... Now there's two of them. What the heck's going on down there? I mean, we have an air scout overhead, but it shouldn't be putting out those random circles like that. That's really interesting. I have to go find that now. It's very interesting. But before that, we do have a push out from Naberwasser as well. Just trying to force back the front line of Team 1. I was going to say, wouldn't be surprised to see these units out from air just flank Team 2's army from Naberwasser. Naberwasser in kind of a bad position. He's getting cornered by this hillside, of course. So it forces his units kind of into a thinner column versus a wider spread out column where his units would be more effective and not get just stuck. We do have some Ilshis, those TD walking PD, very effective, and Naberwasser does back up, noticing that it's not going to be a fight worth taking. I feel like that's a scrying tool, but I thought the Aeons are the ones that have those. Is it the eye, not the scrying tool, the eye. Maybe is it the same thing? Answer down in the comments if the scrying tool is the same as the eye. Eye of Rihanna? Not Rihanna, but it starts with an R. That's all I know. That's all I can remember off the top of my head. We do have huge amounts of damage going to all of these shields, these parashields. They are tanking a decent amount of the incoming fire, and that means these pillars are going to live long, healthy lives, as long as they don't die, of course, by this incoming fire. Comm of Naber going to lead his forces by example, shoving those Seraphim units back and back towards their main base. As you see, the comm of Pierre just getting shot continuously by all of these pillars. Pierre needs to keep moving. He cannot stop. he stops for too long, he's going to be caught out, and he is not going to look good. Nabarwasser is not in a good position as well. He's being flanked by the Calm and by Pierre's units as well. Pierre trying to move in around behind the units of Nabar and create an environment where Nabarwasser cannot retreat. But it looks like Nabarwasser is going to go for the kill, and he's going to get it. Couple more hits, and boom. All of those T2 units, T1 units are down. But there are a decent amount of units out from Pierre as well. They're going to stop for a brief second when they switch control. But unfortunately, they were given other orders, and they're going to keep walking. Notice they stop. Nabarwasser gets another hit. That's probably Pierre letting his teammate know there are units in the area. But this is not enough to deal significant damage to the Calm. And that is definitely a win for Team 2, bringing us to a 3v2 in Team 2's favor at about 20 minutes. ASF's being built up for air as well. The danger, of course, of killing players off early on, as if you've seen my last video, will definitely attest to, is you pretty much put a bunch of resources in the hand of one player, and if that one player is skilled enough, he'll just steamroll all over you. So it's definitely a double-edged sword of, do you get the kill and reduce APM, or do you let the Calm live, let the player live, and that's going to diminish effectiveness on the battlefield in terms of having a bunch of resources in one player's coffers. So you just got to weigh the options. Sometimes you want to just get bloodlust and you just want to get the kills, which is very understandable, but it does make it hard when it's like, 45 minutes of the game and it's like, maybe we shouldn't have killed those guys. Hindsight's always 20/20, of course, and especially watching casts after the game has happened. We have full vision, we have full awareness, for the most part, of everything going on, and you can say, we would have done this, or we would do this, or whatever the case may be. So it is difficult in the moment to assess all of that in your head quickly as possible and make a decision, and hopefully make the right decision. T1 is good, T1 transport, or you need T2. I think, what are they talking about in chat? Give transport to Bell. Okay, they're talking about getting a transport on the front line to bring him back. Probably what they're talking about, which is a good move because it's going to take a while to walk all the way back. We have a T1 transport back here. I think you need a T2 to lift the Calm up. I don't remember. I can't remember off the top of my head. There's a stealth field generator going down. That's very good. Kind of block some of that radar from enemy radar installations. There is, it looks like, an artillery in place. There's 2 artillery in place, mind you, and that's going to start dealing lots and lots of damage to these shields, but I don't think they have enough firepower to really make a difference on this fire base here to the south. You can see now the game has pretty much cut the middle line all the way down at about here. So it's, I guess, to be fair, it's kind of like here and then down. So I'd say like Team 1 owns about 55% and Team 2 owns about 45%. And in terms of generated eco, we have 411, so Team 2 has increased that advantage from earlier on. However, the mass reclaimed or generated in total is now up to 300,000 for Team 1, so they have about a 14K advantage, which again isn't like, these aren't like huge numbers. It's not 500,000 or 2 million mass differential, but more mass means you have more stuff to either build with or funnel into upgrades or whatever the case may be. You just have more stuff counters less stuff, as Willow's duality says all the time. We have these Percivals trading shots back and forth. A lot of those shots do miss. Again, the downside with the Percivals are they don't fire very often, and so if they get swarmed by a lot of units, they have to just take all of that incoming fire. Unlike the Brick, which is pretty much the exact opposite, where it's high fire rate, low damage, they can just do a lot of damage over, they can do probably the same amount of damage over the same amount of time, just it takes longer in terms of the initial damage for the Percival to come back versus or to meet up with that damage versus the brick does. If that made sense. Sometimes I just ramble on and I do apologize. There is a T3 mobile missile platform. The spearheads out from the TO player of Naberwasser, just trying to deal any and all damage that he can. Looks like he's going after those resourcing options on that plateau. Look at all the missiles. It launches 3 missiles at a time. Unfortunately, it is hitting that little thin rock face thingamajig. So it's not being super effective. There is a missile coming in. And it will take out that T2 Mechs. That is definitely going to be an annoyance to Team 1. But Team 1 has built an experimental somewhere. And it is the Monkey Lord, the cheapest experimental. Not bad. It actually is one of my favorites, especially if you can get them very close. The main laser of that Monkey Lord is very powerful. I think it does about the same damage that the telemaser does, if I'm not wrong. It's definitely the same type of laser, of course. We have a tactical missile upgrade going down for the comm of Naberwasser. He's probably going to go for that Billy Nuke upgrade. That's what I would bet. He is stalling energy, it looks like. Yeah, he is stalling energy, so he doesn't have enough. That's why he's probably paused that upgrade. Probably building a T3 generator in the back line. So, yep, as we speak, building another T3 generator. We have a couple more Percivals in defense here for this middle section of the map. Air scouts overhead trying to get a good readout on Team 2's position. Team 2's air player of AT-AT-8 is just holding back his ASFs in reserve, just doing a patrol route. While Team 1's air player Air is being a little more aggressive with it. So lots of walls going up to try to cut off enemy movement. You don't want to cut off all movement because it'll just the units will go around it, especially if it's like a cutoff here, of course. But if you leave just enough gap for units to get through, it just messes with the pathing of the units, and units crash into each other and not move. So it's actually a good tactic to not fully wall up, but instead kind of create like a tower defense kind of style of like having units go like kind of in a pattern like that, where they're kind of bunched up all the time. And look, even dead players on Team 1 trying to assist their teammates, saying put another wall there. Tactical Nuke has now been started and is getting up pretty quick. Oh, but he can't. Tactical Nuke has been canceled. He's like, oh, that's a Monkey Lord. Oh, that's not good. I probably should do something else. Naberwasser, may I suggest something? You probably should just leave. Those Percivals might be able to take out that Monkey Lord, but there are way more Percivals in the back line. So even if these Percivals take that out, there's still way more alpha damage coming your way. Oh, Naberwasser, are you going to use your overcharge? He does. Does he kill it? Yes, he does. He kills that Monkey Lord and says, I am out of here. There's a T2 transport ready for him to lift off. Again, we have PD doing their darndest just to hold this position and try to fend off all of these Percivals. We have a couple of these missile launchers in the back. That air, oh, that, ooh, that was very close. So if you didn't oh, that's too bad. So Naberwasser almost made it out of there, except the ASFs from Team 1 came out, was going to kill the transport. He pulled the transport back, but then gunships came on the field anyways. And if they're allowed to exist any further longer, which they are, Naberwasser is going to die. So he probably should have left when I suggested he should, and that will be a kill for Team 1, bringing this back to a 2v2. So sub 30 minutes, it is a tie game. There's a decent amount of gunships left standing for Team 1. ASFs coming in overhead to help protect them as well. Isn't really a whole lot of anti-air in this position for Katawonga as well. There are a couple SAM sites. Well, they're not called SAMs for Seraphim units, for Seraphim structures. But, no, are those Seraphim or are those Aeon? I guess those are Aeon. So it doesn't really matter. No, they're from, they're from AT-AT, so those are Seraphim. But just SAM is very easy because everyone knows what the SAM is. It's the T3 anti-air defense, so. Huge column or pillar of Percivals just eviscerating all of those hit points for all those harbs, for all those Oblivion turrets. Oblivion turrets still very effective in the T3 stage because of that high. They have a decent amount of shields. You can see they even have more shields than the Harb does, except obviously the Harb has almost 3 times the amount of health. Actually, Harb has 3,600. Oblivions have 1,250. Yeah, so almost 3 times. I think it's by like 150 mass. A lot of mass going to Katawanga. I don't know if he's building something. He is building a Galactic Colossus. Maybe he's focusing maybe Harb production as well. We'd like to see these Harbs use their engineering suites. There are engineers on site as well, and just spamming up Oblivion defenses as well. But these Harbs could easily use their engineering suite and scoop up all of that juicy mass and just get that reclaimed faster and faster. You're mentioning to his teammates that there is reclaim all around that base. And that's kind of been there for, I'd say, a while, I'd feel like. The engineers prioritizing production of Ilshis versus the reclaim, which, I mean, you need mass to build stuff with, so kind of look out for that. And Team 2 has widened that mass gap, speaking of mass and reclaim, and now it's about almost 80,000 mass. That's starting to look very bad. Team 1 has noticed that GC, and it is almost done. It's sitting there kneeling, about ready to stand up, and I think it's pretty cool. Pretty much as it's finishing, it stands up ready to fight. I think that's a very cool animation. Very cool thing that FAF added. I don't think that was in Forged Alliance or the base game of Supreme Commander. I don't think so. I feel like that's something that somebody would have added later on. But that position out from Fel has started to be not really worth holding. And you can see the shields falling. They're trying to hold the shield as long as possible, but just the incoming fire from 3 of these miasmas are just dealing enough damage to weaken the shield enough for more shots to rain in and deal significant damage. Team 1 trying to secure that reclaim field. There's about 25, maybe 30,000 reclaim. So, a decent amount of reclaim. Build some gunships, build some more ASFs, or put that towards literally anything else. Air grid's starting to be spammed up for the red player of Fel, trying to assist his comrade in the air game. There is a megalith almost done by that little tiny T3 engineer, just trying to do its that's lonely engineer, just trying to do its job. And it looks like the column of air just in the back line, not defended by anything. Would like to see maybe a shield or 2 over that column, just to protect it from any incoming strat bombers, if that does happen. But it doesn't look like Team 2 is being super aggressive with their air anyways, so not really a huge issue. So there again, that Colossus has moved up. That front line of Fel is going to fall. And just everything just gets evaporated by that laser, that face laser. And it's using its vacuum arms to suck up all of those engineers, all of those other units. And that's just going to be a nice little reclaim field for Team 2 to scoop up into their coffers. And I wouldn't be surprised to see some units come out and take out the rest of these mass extractors in the southeast corner. I'm surprised you don't see any gunships from AT-AT just going and taking those out. It would be definitely the investment. I mean, they are T2 mass. They are fully ringed, so that's 9 mass per. You got, 18 mass, and then plus these other 2 12. So you got 30 mass right there that you could easily just chop off. But Team 1 is now leading the, I think that might be reclaim related. That probably is reclaim. It looks like they're reclaiming that Percival. They're like, hey, no, don't reclaim me. Just because I'm in the yellow doesn't mean I can't still be functional. I think that's reclaim related. Just because especially because they're reclaiming that monkey bug. Yeah, it's starting to fall kind of below what it was earlier. But a huge column of shields, anti-air, specifically these flak, these T2 air cannons. Again, with the Seraphim get these T3 mobile shields. They have 10,000 shield strength, so super effective for protecting land armies. Just look at all those shields. And they're going to put their Percivals underneath that. Looks like multiple experimentals have been built. There's another GC for Team 2. There's that megalith that was finished and that chicken as well. So 2 experimentals on the field for Team 1. I don't see anything else in the back line. That's a shield. Yada. Oh, the chicken. There is a chicken on the cards for Team 2. SMD has been built. It isn't loaded as of yet, but I don't see any nukes being focused by either players on any team. Any of the players on any team. Now it looks like they're going more for T3 spam as well as just massive air grids and experimental. But there's a huge push out here from the player of air, just trying to push his forces all the way in as a spear, just trying to shove his way through the defensive lines. I just love the fact that the walls don't change color. So when you zoom out, like it just looks kind of funny. Like, why are there teal walls surrounding purple cannons? But doesn't. Again, those don't transfer because they're not offensive units. They're almost like they don't exist kind of thing. But all these lightning tanks, they can damage ground units, as you can see. They're not too bad either in terms of damage. They deal a decent amount of damage. See if I can see a lightning strike. Well, didn't help that those Percivals came in. But you have anti-air, you have shields, and you have your main like damage, your DPS out of these Percivals and Ilshis. That's a very, very good combination. Golf clap for the comm of air there. Just, ooh, that's very good. The only issue is if GC comes in and goes, no. That's not going to happen, especially if 2 GCs come and say hi. And you can see the advantage of those T3 shields for the Seraphim. The ones out from the Aeon have only 3,500 hit points. So almost 3 times as much shield energy and protection on those T3 mobile shield generators for the Seraphim. So again, very effective units. And just look at those lightning tanks. Just take out all of these ASF that are in patrol. Pretty much not many of them make it out of their patrol lines. Nope, that one dies. Yeah, just pretty much all of those ASFs are going down. We have another push out here in the south. So again, very coordinated. They're pretty much, Team 1 is hemming Team 2 into that corner. We are 36 minutes. If you have been enjoying the cast so far, please like and comment down below what your favorite moment has been. Who do you think is going to win? What mods you think I should install to make the game better? And again, if you haven't subbed, please do so. I greatly appreciate it. I've been trying to put a cast out every single day. I've been pretty successful at that so far, and I'm almost close to 250. And again, once I hit 250, I'll make a community post for everyone to submit, replays, what types of games you'd like to see. Would you like to see maybe a bar match? Would you like to see any of that? So just, I like to get ideas. I like to get input from everyone watching, because it's always better for people who do watch to submit ideas, because it means obviously they'll be more inclined to watch. And it's good to say that I care about your opinion. I care about everyone who is watching, and doing that, at least I try to show that I do care. Again, let's go ahead and check back on the action. We have a attack missile battery over here going after that stationary crab, that megalith. Those missiles coming in, kind of doing the little dodge little moves. Oh, that megalith sees him a little too late. Ooh, they take out not a whole lot of hit points. That's definitely unfortunate for those missiles. Team 1 has now reclaimed the southeastern corner. They own the northeastern corner, pretty much forcing Team 2 again into the corner of the map. That operating at about maybe 35%. So again, not a whole lot, but Team 2 is now trailing the generated eco game by about 50 or so. But they are leading the total mass accrued as well. So, I mean, that definitely will change as time goes on if this differential stays the same. But they still have the mass advantage as of right now. And the downside is when you attack and you don't retain that territory that you took, the other team can come and take all of that mass. I don't know what is going on with that. It's kind of weird. Definitely a visual glitch on that end. It looks cool, but it's definitely a visual glitch for sure. Looks like that Galactic Colossus does not... And it's getting worse. Look at that thing. It's getting worse. Is that a teleport? It's not a teleport, is it? No, there's no way that's a teleport. That'd be very weird. Let's get to this little cinematic mode here. We have a chicken and a crab talking to a Colossus about their feelings. The chicken gets up close and personal with that Colossus. The Colossus does go down. It's able to take one of those siege tanks, those Optim siege tanks with it. That chicken does die in front of the main army for Team 2, pretty much forcing them to go around it, allowing enough time for this megalith to retreat. Again, I don't know what this is about. Looks like, I don't know, some cool design or something. I have no idea what that's about. It does disappear now, so yeah, who knows. But that Othi, whatever the little lightning ball that spawns, definitely making a cause. It's moved here now. It's here. Why is it moving? I don't know what this is. Please answer down in the comments what this little indicator thing, icon, whatever it is. No idea what it is. But that crab gets surrounded, crushes a huge amount of these harbs. That's definitely going to be a loss. But Team 2 needs to claim that reclaim field. There's their Colossus plus their crab. I mean, we're talking about close to probably 100k mass that they can come claim. But Team 1 not electing to push on that northern side for some reason. They could have easily come in and taken a lot of that infrastructure. But it looks like we actually missed a fight over here on the northern section as well, probably why they retreated. And there's some, again, these Othams are able to secure that reclaim. Again, decent section of reclaim, probably about 50, maybe even close to 100,000 as well. So we have two 100,000 plots of reclaim to come scoop. And now we see those harbs using that engineering suite to scoop up that mass. You got to be aware of all those unit capabilities and little nuances of each faction, because that can mean the difference between your enemy getting the reclaim and you getting the reclaim. Bunch of Othams trying to take out this T3 mass extractor. They are going to get it, unfortunately, for Team 2. There are some of these Percivals in tow to try to mitigate that damage or mitigate that incoming fire, but not going to matter. Reclaim operations are in full swing for air. Maz, probably. We have a nuke launch. Apologies for missing that build right next to the Galactic Colossus, and that, let's see if I can see it before. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, looks like it is going for the main, one of the main bases of air. I forget who was there. I think that was, Pierre was down here. I forget what it was, but that nuke is going to land. That nuke, the anti-nuke does not get loaded. We're going to see a very beautiful explosion. Little pulse wave. Just take out a huge section of that base. Just evaporates everything that was being built over there. Again, still the nuke effects are the best for the Seraphim, hands down. I will take that opinion to my grave. You will not change my mind. All these engineers just getting flapped away by these Percivals and Harbs. Trying to get as much reclaim as they can, and for their efforts, they will taste death. We have another megalith guarding this southern approach for Team 1. We have a decent amount of these Othams, again, just kind of grouping up. Huge amounts of Percivals just starting to be built up. And they're going to be sent to the front line to help with defensive efforts. They have to take that reclaim. I mean, they're not going to get this southern one. It's pretty much all gone now. Those Harbs are just surrounding it like vultures. Just like, this is mine. This is my reclaim. Go away. Those engineers go, nah, it's probably not a good idea. They need the support of these Percivals and Othams. But unfortunately for them, reclaim operations are already underway for Team 2. And they are soaking up each and every bit that they can. We have missile launches out from that TAC missile battery in the back line. They are going after the forward production factories of Team 1 to take out another T3 factory. They take out that mass extractor as well. Another volley of missiles comes in, takes out another factory, and those engineers go, we need tactical missile defense. That should have been the first thing and not building the mass extractor. Ooh, one missile makes it through, but I think enough of these TAC missile defense will secure that last factory from being destroyed. Team 1 army just kind of hanging out. Don't want any surprises there on the western front. Lots of walls being built up. A couple of them surrounding the mexes here. Team 2 not electing. Oh, okay, they're starting to. I was going to say, they're not electing to take these mexes down in this southeastern corner, even though they completely pretty much own it. And there's a few T3 mexes that honestly should just not exist. I mean, a couple of the mass storages are dead, but there's even a Team 1 mass extractor on this little plateau. So, I mean, Team 2 not doing everything they can, and those missiles could have easily taken out those extractors, but I can see the wisdom in taking out the factories first and then going for the mass. You can't produce any defenses if you don't have anything to produce those defenses with. Missiles going into the back line, making a little curvature, going after, I guess, that mass point, but they end up falling. I hear anti-air fire. Yeah, these couple of these air scouts. Do we have anything in the back line being built? Do we have a... Okay. I gotta stop saying stuff, because when I say stuff, it ends up, like, happening. Yolana Oz has now been on the cards. Looks like they're going to build that and then build... I think those are T2 point defense as well. Very smart, making sure you secure that Yolana Oz against the only Cyber commander in the game. Do we have anything else being built by Team 2? We have that nuke launcher. That almost has a nuke loaded. Let's see. Now, would like to see some more defenses on this western side, however. Maybe some more there's a decent amount of anti-air. Probably should put some anti-air up here. I mean, it's going to be very hard-pressed for units on the ground to take that out. So that's just natural protection. A huge column of these C-Stings trying to go in and around this position here. It looks like there's a couple harbs that took out that mass extractor and fell. Did not like that one bit. Do we have anything spicy going on in the back line? We have a chicken. Get that SMD. It has one missile loaded. A megalith is almost completed. Do we have anything else in the back line? No. That missile defense being primaried, being focused, just producing all the missiles it can. It just finished its first missile as well. So there's 2 missiles loaded. So that nuke, when it does launch, if it launches right now, will definitely not make it. And if Team 2 is paying attention, they could probably take out this huge T3 army, T4 army here in the middle. And they've already had an explosion from a comm here, so it's pretty much like an X saying, like, hit this target right here. Things going down on one team or the other, by one team or the other, just saying either move or attack that position. That's the downside with maps, I mean, of any size at this point, is the fact that you can't cover every spot with a anti-nuke, and so at some point you're going to put units very vulnerable, and it looks like that nuke is going to land on top of that army. The ASFs kind of scramble to kind of move out of the way, knowingly or not, but this nuke, of course, is going to land and take out a huge amount of offensive capabilities for Team 1. That megalith eats it to the face. It loses 75, almost 75% of its hit points. Because of that, Team 2 can divert their main defenses, main group of units on this northern side to take out the rest of this western side, which again wasn't a whole lot to begin with anyway. So now there's like a no man's land in the middle, which happens a lot in games, especially on 20x20s, but 10x10s as well. You just kind of get a no man's land if there's like nothing there. Like, why reclaim it? It's just going to get blown up in 5 minutes anyway. So it's pretty much you secure as much land in the early game as you can, build up the back line, build up main production lines and infrastructure, and then those early advances will definitely be destroyed as time goes on. That's the case with, I think, most of the games that I have cast and I've seen so far. We have some gunships patrolling that. They're like, no, we are not going to allow any shenanigans going for that Yolana Oz. Excuse me there. But lots of shields. Would even like to see maybe a couple more in case Team 1 has already on the brain, which as of right now, they don't really have a plan to end the game. And I see this in a decent amount of the games that I cast is they might, a team or even a player or so might have an idea to win the game, like with the Yolana Oz, and so that's what they focus on. Their teammates might support them, they might not. But another team is just happy to just keep the status quo. Like they don't think a couple steps ahead. Like in chess, for example, you need to think more steps ahead just because that's just how you win the game for the most part. And you can't plan for everything, so you don't have to rack your brain with every single possible thing that you can possibly come up with. However, if you don't come up with anything, that's worse than coming up with something. Because, you know, something's better than nothing. Of course, that master actually goes down to a huge section, a huge volley in that section. Huge volley of missiles. And then another volley coming out in the same position, but the TMD is too strong, will not allow those missiles to penetrate their defenses. Galactic Colossus, chickens, I mean, Megaliths, they're fine and all, honestly. Like, they're very useful on the battlefield. However, when your opponent, if you know, do they even know it? No, they don't. They know something maybe is there, but they don't know exactly what is there. So, that thing is almost half done. So, it's maybe about 5 or so minutes it's going to be finished. And if Team 1 doesn't notice it, wow, I cannot talk. Team 1 doesn't do anything about it. That's pretty much game. Because at this point, you only have 2 players left. You don't have a whole lot of infrastructure in terms of being able to fight back against that kind of weapon of mass destruction. Your play is the land game, and Team 2 is like, we're just going to turtle and just kind of wait it out. Which is sad, because there's been a lot of action so far. And this stuff says Paragon ? So they think it's a Paragon, which I guess in this case might actually be worse or better? Better in the Paragon is bigger in terms of size-wise. Is it bigger? I thought it comes up, it has the same amount of space it takes up, but maybe not. UEF NG, please, and I see no assist on this thing. So it looks like they're trying to figure out what it is. They think it's a Paragon. They don't really know. It's probably something else. I mean, you have access to everything but Cybran, so it would either be a Maver, a Paragon, or a Yolana Oz at this point. And Team 2 just skipping directly to the end game, not going to T3 already, just going straight past it. And if Team 1 had already built by now, they could do a decent amount of damage on this base. There's a decent amount of shields, though. If they had enough, they could puncture it, but they're not really doing anything about it. You could funnel this chicken mass into something else, like an arty. You could funnel it into your own strategic missile launcher. I mean, there's nothing in the backline going on, and that's very disappointing. I mean, yeah, you're getting a quantum gateway up and running, but there's nothing really going on. Both of the highest rated players for both teams are killed. However, I feel like the advantage still kind of in terms of skill obviously does sit with Team 2, given the fact that both of their players outrank both of their players. So, in terms of the 1300 versus the almost 1300 and 1200 versus the 900. And that is definitely the downside of having the outliers in terms of the highest and the lowest versus having the average. Is the average in terms of your skill ranking, so you're going to have about the same gameplay versus the highest and the lowest. If you lose the highest, that's not great. Not great. And so I'm just going to speed it up. Normally I don't do this a whole lot, but I'm going to speed it up probably to 2, because it is kind of just a very lulled period, not a whole lot going on. I've been talking for a decent amount of time now, and you can obviously tell nothing's really happened. Looks like are they trying to say increase the speed of the game, maybe? I thought it was locked at 1 when you actually play the game and not just cast it. I'll obviously review it later. But Novaxes, that's a good idea. That's something is better than nothing. And looks like 4 of them are planned. Would like to see a couple more shields. You shouldn't build more than 1 at a time though. I mean, you should probably just focus 1 and go to the next one. I feel like that's a lot easier. There's a couple strat bombers being built up with these gunships, but there's a huge amount of ASF for Team 1. We have 300 ASF. How many does Team 2 have there? Only 200, so it's a 3-2 advantage for Team 1. They have a lot of ASF on Team 2 side of the map, though, so it's going to be very hard to puncture. Katawanga built another Colossus, it looks like. So again, more land defenses going down for them, making sure nothing's going to get by that way. Team 1, they have 2 chickens, 2 megaliths. They could probably puncture that front line. There's only 2 Colossus on the front line. There's a decent, I mean, a huge amount of Percivals and Harms and Shields and a whole bunch of armies down there, but Theracom grading. Well, what? Grading or gating? Well, it looks like AT's on an upgrade. Don't. I don't know what he's going for. It doesn't tell me what he's going for, so I don't know if he's teleporting. I don't know what's going on. There is a strategic missile launcher that's just kind of sitting there, though. It's just been like, oh, that's an idea. Fat Boy, that's also a good move. If you produce like 4 of those, then you could just walk down the enemy base, especially with all of these experimentals guarding them. But again, you have to worry about nukes. Ras going down for air, getting more resources under his belt, in his pockets, being used to funnel more and more action and deadly weapons of mass destruction. We have a heavy shield completed for Katawanga as well. We do have the first satellite has been constructed for air. Hair? I think it's hair. I've been saying air the entire time. I think it's hair. Hair doctor? Yeah, it's hair. Excuse me. I do apologize. Still trying to learn names. Still trying to learn how to pronounce things. And different languages do not help with that. So again, I do apologize. And just correct me down in the comments if I do say something wrong. I want to know how to say it correctly, because if I cast them again, then I want to be able to say the name correctly the next time as well. So that space laser moving its way across the map. Again, it is a 10 by 10, so that traversal is a lot, quote unquote, in terms of percentage map, it is a lot faster. Still moves the same amount of speed, just feels like it's moving faster. That Fat Boy does finish. Looks like those engineers are going to maybe assist with Rascom production, maybe assist with Novaxes. And honestly, right now, this is Team 2's game to lose, because they have almost the Yolana. Their teammates aren't really doing a whole lot. Or their opponents aren't really doing a whole lot. And they could easily just, bombard them to death pretty much. Just, block out the sun with all of their nukes. And decent amount of strat bombers being built. Again, not concerned as of yet. There is a lot of anti-air defenses in the mix. That laser starting to fire down onto that YOLO. The YOLO, again, like Gustav says, is almost nearly finished. And let's just watch it just tick over into 100%. It is now completed. And shields are now... Oh, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, those shields are like, that's what we're doing. Especially with these Novaxes overhead. Though the Novax should probably start focusing down resourcing options, focus down maybe the comm if that's even possible. Take out E-storage and exposed power generators just to hold all of that energy, because energy is shared between players after it fills the meter. So if Team 2 doesn't have enough energy to go around, they're going to lose shields, and that'll give an opportunity for those Novaxes to take stuff out. So energy is definitely the limiting factor in terms of course, shield survivability. But unfortunately, Hera does not know which target he wants to go after, and because of that, these shields are able to rep up and not really be punctured. That's why 1 satellite isn't really a concern. Like 5 satellites is a concern, but 1 is not really. Air Scouts trying to get a readout on the enemy base, at least their enemy base. That nuke does come out from that Yolana Os. Where is it going? I don't know. Oh, this is an interesting play. It's going straight for that army that's bearing down on Team 2's position. That is obviously going to land, cut off any form of movement, and that nuke is going to take out a decent amount of those land forces. They're trying to run away as quickly as they can. Some of them get caught in the blast, couple of Rascoms as well. Not a whole lot of losses, but it does force them back and rethink their strategy of we can't just walk in there, because those nukes get loaded pretty fast. And again, another one has now been loaded. It's going to sit in its chamber. Look how big that nuke is. That thing is huge. Look at it. Like almost the size of the actual structure. And then it gets a little smaller, of course, just because that's its little model. That thing is massive. And now it's going to go, looks like it's going for the main base of Fell. There is, maybe it's just going for the Novaxes. That's, honestly, that's probably, yep, going for those Novaxes. There are SMD loaded. Takes out the first of those YOLO nukes, the super nukes. Bunch of ASFs. I mean, yeah, it's good to have ASFs, but you gotta have a use for them. Team 2 is just hovering their nukes around the around their main base, and pretty much it's Catawangas on defense, and AT-AT is on offense, which is ironic because you would think it'd be the other way around, at least in terms of like combat. But because AT-AT has the nuke, AT-AT's main focus is of course the nuke and just blocking out the sun. Nuke is shot over again once more. Goes for the same position. 2 more anti-nukes come out of those silos. And a bunch of silos have been spammed up. There are none loaded for this little battery of anti-nukes. There's 2 loaded in that one. There's 0 in that one. There's 3. So they have at least 2 more waves of nukes that they can shove off. They can brush off. But again, those nukes are launching constantly. And I would not be surprised if air teleports and goes after the telemazer. Unfortunately, he's not going to get anywhere with all of that PD protecting it. So, yeah, not the best idea there. So, there is a smaller army or smaller section of the army for Team 1 over here on the southeastern side. There's a couple chickens and a fat boy. Start taking out all of the anti-air in the area would be probably the best thing to do. I mean, you could try to split your forces up. The only downside with that is the amount of firepower you have available to you diminishes for either side. There are 3 megaliths though. Those could easily group up with these chickens. There are 3 colossus, and the megaliths do outrange the colossus, so that could be your play there. We have 2 lasers overhead. Okay, good to see that. Constantly producing those lasers. The shields, there's not a lot of energy available to Team 1. And if Team 2 had artillery, this would be dead. This would be just, mass. Wouldn't be anything, pretty much. Another nuke gets launched. Of course, every time she says that, I just hear in my voice, oh, that's my name of my channel. And so every game that is played that has a nuke, my channel's name is said. And I feel like that's kind of surreal sometimes, and you think about it, huh. Kind of weird to think about. Oh, but it goes short, goes for a different target, and goes for the main base of Fell, edging out those anti-nukes. And it goes straight in, and is Fell going to get out of there in time? It's going to be close. He does make it out in time. That nuke lands a little closer, and they're just going to start, moving it closer and closer. That has now provoked the bee's nest. And all those bombers are going to keep going in. Oh no, you should have committed. You should have committed. Oh, those it's not going to go well. Those but most of those bombers do make it out. However, those ASFs are going to prioritize the strategic bombers, and for that they're going to lose a lot of their numbers, pretty much handing most of the air control of the game to Team 1. However, a lot of those bombers have been killed, unfortunately. So Team 2 got its objective done by taking out the strat bombers, but lost most of their air. So, everything in this game is a give and take. You take something away from the enemy, but most of the time you give something away as well. Most of the time it's mass, but sometimes it's other things like map control and stuff like that. 1 anti-nuke goes off. No, oh! That's very hard to watch. A 3rd anti-nuke was used that didn't need to be used. That's gotta hurt. Now we have fat boys on the field for both teams. We have gunships overhead. Okay, they're going after the YOLO. Does the shields crack? It does. The nuke gets off at the last second. Ooh, that was a close nuke, but the YOLO does go down. Team 2 has lost their major play of the game. A bunch of these gunships come overhead, trying to take out the comm of AT-AT. AT-AT is under fire. There is a decent amount of anti-air in the area. as well as counter gunships fighting other gunships. It's very rare. You kind of see that. Looks like these gunships, they could have gone after the comm. They probably could have killed the comm of AT-AT had they prioritized it, most likely. But they are going after the air grid. That is definitely a win for them as well, taking out air production facilities and power and a whole bunch of resources. More strike bombers come overhead. These space lasers from the sky dealing anything and everything they can. And now the game has quieted down. I should have slowed that down. I do apologize. I kind of forgot it was like that. But I was able to catch everything. So again, I do apologize. I was trying to speed up the boring part and ended up speeding up a little bit of the action. So I do apologize. But we didn't miss anything. We saw the explosion. We saw that nuke go off. That nuke did not... That did land it. Ooh. So Team 1 has been reduced to this little corner of infrastructure. They do have an air grid. Team 2 does not. And they have 3 Novaxes. So, small consolation prize. A lot of that mass has been evaporated, though. And they do have a decent-sized army in the middle of the map. So, oh, what? Oh, how many? Hold on. Wrong player. How many? There are 118 Harvs. Oh, that's the wrong thing. There are 100 Perseus and 28 shields. There are so... There are... Oh, move that away. There are so many D3 units. And they're just going to go around this... Oh, no, no. They're like, okay, that's probably... They're going to... It's going to funnel them in this little, you know, alleyway. And it's not going to be very effective. It'd be better if they just charge the front line. Which... Team 1 is starting to do, and it looked like that was actually a strategic move. They pulled the forces away, thinking Team 1 will notice that and move in, and then they go, no, we're not going to do that, and then they move in closer, pretty much forcing Team 1 to engage, and unfortunately for Team 1, if those Colossus get close enough, it is probably the end. Well, there are 2 chickens in there. I'd say take out the chickens, get their AoE damage to pop off on all of the surrounding enemy units, and then just mop up the rest. There's a counter Novax over the top, though. So that'll be fun. But those Colossus open up. Sorry, I was... Oh, wrong button. Stomachs for words. This huge army just like, I'm going to hide around this rock. Because why not? And one of the Colossus does the... It's like, guys, where are you going? Guys, where are you going? Why are we retreating? Come on. What are you doing? But Team 1's land forces are moving in. They're just trying to, I think, blitz down the main defensive line. T3 Ravagers are being spammed up. Anything and all is being used as defensive measure. A nuke lands, taking out a decent amount of ground units. That Megalith does go down. A pincer maneuver is now on the cards. They're forcing Team 2's units to be surrounded. Team 1's units to be surrounded all the time. The chickens are not having a good engage up there. They should be up here at the front line. This is pretty much the main fight going on. This might pretty much determine the rest of the game. If Team 2 front lines does fall, that is not a whole lot that they can do to stop it. Unfortunately, for Team 1, they haven't grouped up their land forces together, and that's going to amount to just a mass dump, pretty much. Oh, now it's good. And these 2 chickens and this fat boy pretty much don't amount to a whole lot, and that's definitely going to be a loss for Team 1. Team 2 definitely had, again, the larger amount of army. Of course, was just so many T3 units. And they didn't really lose a whole lot, but gained a whole lot of mass. So they do have those Novaxes to deal with, but they're getting shields up all the time. They have a rapid-fire artillery installation those salvations being constructed. The shields do go down for Catalunga very briefly. It looks like he might have some power struggles. Yep, struggling with his power. Not by a whole lot, though. So, a couple losses of those Pigeons definitely doesn't help. Loses that Novax as well. Shield, again, still offline. Not really great for them. These shields pop back online. Shields go offline for his partner there of AT-AT. The Colossus move in to strike a deal with these chickens, but looks like the deal's going sour, and they decide to hash it out with their fists and plasma and lasers and a whole bunch of other stuff. So that one chicken does go down. There's so many. Look at this. The sea of these Percival's and shields and Harbs and all. Look at them all. Just there's an engineer in. There's an engineer in there. Oh, it's just there's so many. Oh, there's so many. We have another push in the air, trying to get more strat bombers down, but unfortunately, there's more anti-air and some ASFs in tow as well. Looks like they're going after the comm of Katawanga. An assassination attempt. Bombs are away. The shields do go down. Some of those bombs do go off. Ooh, is it a death? It is not. The shield on Katawanga protects him from a lot of that incoming fire. And maybe there'll be a couple bombers that are still alive. Maybe not. Ooh, that's a second failed attempt at a kill against Team 2 for Team 1. We're at the hour and 12-minute mark. No one has died in, I think, at least over 30 minutes. 40 minutes, I think, at least. But there is a huge land push from Team 2. I think the writing is now on the wall. They don't really have anything in the back line. Again, they have a bunch of Novaxes. That's really about it. And those Novaxes were doing work, to be fair. They were keeping Team 2 pretty much bogged down by a bunch of just taking out Pigeons, taking out shields. But Katawanga, he's repping up his hit points, repping up his shield. And honestly, you need more army. Yes, you need more army. The nuke isn't really the problem now. You need ground forces. And Team 2's army stops pretty much short of the main base. I don't know if they're going to do a scouting run. I don't know what they're going to do, but there's one lowly crab on the front lines. Oh, Team 2 notices and decides stop everything else or this push will end. Yeah. Pretty much saying you need to focus down PD. You need to focus PD. You need to focus D3 units. You know, Othams, bricks. I'm surprised there's no bricks. Like, you would think that there are bricks would be priority with the, high health and whatnot, but apparently not. They're prioritizing Megaliths, though, which, again, is also a good move, but no bricks, though. It's kind of sad. A Monkeloid trying to be spammed up as soon as possible. And I do like the fact that if you position your crab right, you can actually walk back and still fire. This Colossus will go down, taking out a couple of its Harbs around it, but Harbs are streaming into the main base. PD being spammed up. That Monkeloid almost been completed as well. That's a pretty fast Monkeloid, to be fair. Spam up anything and everything is the name of the game for Team 1. Launch all the strat bombers, launch anything and everything. Would like to have seen more of those Harbs grouped up for Team 2. That crab does go down, takes out a section of those incoming forces. The Monkeloid does complete, but it's going to start taking a lot of Percy fire, that high alpha damage. And all of these Harbs are getting into the main base. They're going after the comm of Fel. Fel taking out a huge section of those Harbs from those overcharges, and of course those explosions out from those Pigeons. The comm of Hare as well. They're grouping up together, trying to combine firepower, but all that does is let Team 2 know where both of the comms are. More Harbs are stringing in all the time. That Monkeloid does go down. Hare's that's like, I'll protect your buddy, and he goes down, leaving the lowest player in the game, ranked player at least, Fel alone. Team 1's base is starting to capitulate. All of its defenses are just whittling away. Strat Bomber stops for a second. And Fel does complete an experimental unit. I don't... Maybe it was a Novax. Yeah, it was a Novax that was just built. Novax being used as a defensive satellite, as its name implies. But it looks like that is going to be the end of the game. Fel exits the game. Control Ks. Thank you so very much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And again, if you've liked the cast, please, again, give it a like. Comment down below what your favorite moment was. And again, if you haven't subscribed, I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Again, thank you so much for all of the support. I'm almost at 250 subs. I've just been amazed at the growth and everyone willing to take a chance on me. Thank you so very much. It motivates me to try to do better, to make these casts better, to try to just tweak them and make them just ever so slightly that 1% better every single time, that you all get a better product and just are able to enjoy the game that we all love. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I greatly appreciate it, making it all the way to the end. Thank you so very much. And I will see you all in the next one.